Hello, I'm Fritz Stammberger for islandonlinenews.com, and I recently came across an article on the internet about a computer program that could beat a man at Jeopardy. And there was all sorts of interesting statistics and things comparing the computer program or computer mind to the human brain. And this struck me as interesting because I had recently read a series by C.S. Lewis known as the Ransom Trilogy or the Space Trilogy. And this is a series of 3 books. The first is Out of the Silent Planet. The second one is, I believe, Voyage to Venus. And the third one is called That Hideous Strength. And I'll just grab that from my shelf. So this is the 3rd book in the series by C.S. Lewis called That Hideous Strength. And how this relates to the program on television with the machine versus the man on Jeopardy, and the machine being called Weston. Now in this 3-part series by C.S. Lewis, the main antagonist is known as Weston. That's his name. And I'm just going to read from the back cover of this last one in the series. It says, "Over Earth, the shadow of a dark wing. A small English town becomes the center of a gigantic conspiracy against the human race, when a truly devilish organization wishes to recreate mankind in the image of slave robots. Ranged against them are Dr. Ransom, the clairvoyant Jane, and Druid Merlin, who ascends from his Arthurian tomb to become an ally of planetary angels. Together they face the dark powers of evil." Now, the dark powers of evil they speak of here are the transhumanists and their philosophy of downloading themselves into robot bodies and then thus gaining artificial immortality. So I'd just like to maybe read a little page here from the book that explains a little bit of this philosophy. "Dreams of the far future destiny of man were dragging up from its shallow and unquiet grave the old dream of man as God. The very experiences of the pathological laboratory were breeding a conviction that the stifling of deep-set repugnances was the first essential for progress. And now all this had reached the stage at which its dark contrivers thought they could safely begin to bend it back so that it would meet that other and earlier kind of power. Indeed, they were choosing the first moment at which this could have been done. You could not have done it with 19th-century scientists. Their firm objective materialism would have excluded it from their minds, and their inherited morality would have kept them from touching dirt. McPhee was a survivor from that tradition. It was different now. Perhaps few or none at Belbury knew what was happening, but once it happened, they would be like straw in fire. What should they find incredible, since they believed no longer in a rational universe? What should they regard as too obscene, since they had held that all morality was a mere subjective byproduct of the physical and economic situations of men? From the point of view which is accepted in hell, the whole history of our earth had led up to this moment. There was now at last a real chance for fallen man to shake off that limitation of his powers which Mercury had imposed upon him as a protection from the full results of his fall. If this succeeded, hell would be at last incarnate." So this story is about this hideous strength or artificial transhuman being that they want to create. They want to create artificial intelligences or bodies, and then download their consciousness into these bodies and obtain artificial immortality. This is one of the goals of the Illuminati and the so-called rulers of society. So if you want to learn more about this, you can read the series by C.S. Lewis known as the Space Trilogy or the Ransom Trilogy, which consists of 3 books. And C.S. Lewis is an amazing writer, and I mean these books he wrote in I think the 40s. This one was published in 1945, the last one. So he was writing about these things, you know, over 50 years before they came into the sort of the public sector. So again, that's the writings of C.S. Lewis on transhumanism, and I highly recommend that series. Again, I'm Fritz Stammberger for islandonlinenews.com. Thanks for listening.